Okay, yeah, since we're expecting lower attendance today because the entire NFT space is out in person today, just having fun. We'll just get started today. We're gonna keep this like light, short. We'll be in the Discord, or I'll be in the Discord, just like watching messages and stuff too. So yeah, the intention behind this is I want to open up some time for questions. I want to give you guys an update on where we're at. I want to hype you guys up a bit because we're literally turning a corner right now, and it couldn't be more exciting, like internally at Pixels. So yeah, we'll give an update. So if you guys weren't aware, yesterday what we did was we released access to 100 users who reacted first to test out this new engine that we've created. So we've been spending a lot of development time, kind of like working backwards a bit. We put some hard work into rewriting our engine, and then we put some hard work into doing like some pre-production on the game design side of things too. The end goal here is we want to make sure that we have a good game and a great game experience. The engine that we have that you guys are playing on right now, you guys can tell there's things about it that don't feel game-like. It's not responsive as it should be. The movement's slow. So we were running into issues where we really felt limited by the experience that we could offer you guys with the current engine that we had. There was some scaling that we had. The tech wasn't awful, but our intention for building in this space and like building an actual game is to make sure that this game experience is extremely polished, really tight, and just feels and looks like a game. So that old engine, we weren't really sure we could get there, especially not in the long term with it. That's why we put in the hard work to like give you that new engine. So we released that to 100 people. We are combing through bugs now. We released it knowing to these 100 people, knowing there were some bugs in there. And now the decision is okay, which are the bugs that are like blocking a release? Which are the ones that we need to like prioritize fixing? And what can we move on to start building out this new engine and like the features in? So that rewrite was huge. I cannot express how insane that was, building, like, a multiplayer instanced, engine in the amount of time that we did, like, super, super impressive that the team got it done as quick as they did. Like, that tech is tough. So with this new engine, if you guys haven't gotten onto it, we're actually shipping it tomorrow, it looks like, if all things go well. It looks like we're gonna get all the, game-breaking bugs out of the way, most of the bugs that, like, affect the general polish out of the way. It should be shipping to everybody tomorrow. The things that you'll see in it are, like, you'll see a new movement engine. It's much, much smoother. It's much more responsive. It feels so much better. That was one thing that people complained about a lot before, or like gave us feedback around that the movement just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a game. Now, every single thing that we're doing is to like make sure that this experience in the world that you're playing in feels like a game. So what we shipped in this rewrite is mostly feature parity with what you had before, with some polish added. The next stages of what we're shipping out after that focus on adding even more polish on top of what we shipped, and then making literally every single feature as smooth and as fun as we can. So that's things like anytime you switch a farm, like there'll be nice animations around it. All the features like will have updated artwork, um, and everything should just feel like much smoother. It's like the word in the game industry that you would use for what we're focusing on is juice. We literally have a full-time person, like a full-time dev who's just gonna focus on adding in juice. So, um, yeah, you'll see a bunch of new fixes on that build if you have been testing it, come out, I think today. The dev team's been working on it pretty hard today, and it's looking like the state of it is decent and compared to, like, all the bugs we've been going through. We've prioritized and logged, like, so many bugs. I think, like 50 bugs were logged in that. So yeah, it's really, really nice when you guys come in and help us like identify these bugs. The idea is like we have QA internally, we have like QA testers, but it's so much easier when you guys actually come in and like help us test at scale where I don't know, you guys get to see the progress that we're working on. You guys provide us like a really good service and then it makes the product overall better. So I hope you guys are okay with that. We were kind of iffy if like we should release like preview builds to you guys, but I think it's a good situation because the people that want to test it recognize, hey, there's bugs here, and we're just helping you guys out, and then we get a better product. So I think it's like a win-win for everybody, where you guys get to see the progress that we're working on, you guys get to help us come out with a more polished product, and then the product that we actually ship to the much larger user base is much cleaner that way. So we released access to 100 users. We're still sitting at over 2,000 daily active users, 17,000 like unique monthly users. So that's quite good. This small community that's helping us test, patch them up, um, it has large effects, especially as we move on to the next stages. So next stages, we're moving on to alpha features and we're moving on to polish. Um, it's going to be interesting what we release and how we release it. So in gaming, alpha is typically meant to be internal when you're talking about like an alpha release. So that means like we build out an alpha version, we test it internally, and we really focus on making it as fun as possible. We've defined the scope completely. We know exactly what we're going to build for it. We know roughly how long it's going to take, and we know like the things that we need to look for to improve that experience. Um, there might be instances of that we ship out to you guys, but then the beta is what you guys are waiting for. So basically, the alpha is this version of these game features that we're testing, and we need to make sure that we test it ourselves before we send it to anybody. The beta is what we're shipping to you guys. The beta should be relatively pushed, relatively bug free. And then this beta that we're shipping to is going to be blockchain backed as well. So that's the really, really important thing. That's when we're shipping our tokens. That's when we're having the game out, essentially. So it's the acknowledgement that we've shipped a game, but there's still more work to do on it. So this development process over the next like 6 months is we'll have a play to earn game fully out, but we're still gonna keep building it with you guys, and we're gonna keep taking your feedback in. We're still in the stage where we want to make sure that we're making a fun game, and this early feedback from everybody who is actually playing the game is extremely important. So we're gonna be staying really, really in touch and in tune with you guys. We'll probably run focus groups and all of that, and make sure that we're building it out. So yeah, I think that's, like, the update that we had on that, like, rewritten code base. You guys are probably getting shipped that tomorrow. That's gonna go out to everybody tomorrow. And if you guys notice some fun things about, um, certain things like the URL and stuff like that, you'll notice that there's, like, that rebrand coming as well with that. So that URL that you guys got access to, um, yeah, that's big news. That's actually kinda alpha. That was not easy to get that. Um so, more news on that. So then, yeah, in terms of after that, in terms of like besides just game development, besides just updates, um, this rewrite just unlocked us so many things. So we're about to move into the next stage. This is where this roadmap has come together. This is where all these new moving pieces that we've been talking about for so long can finally get unlocked. So we're working on the blockchain development. We're working on the token drop. We're working on the official launch of the beta. Um, all these things need to be coordinated together. It's such a crazy, crazy balancing game, but we have it pretty locked. So we don't have the official date of the release. We're gonna get that more and more settled, but it's looking like late September, early October, potentially mid-September. The idea is we want to get this blockchain backed beta out as soon as possible. We don't want to like you know, dilly-dally in shipping this, but it is important to make sure things are polished and they're in a, like, good state. The team is moving super quick, like, the team has been moving on all cylinders lately. It takes a lot of time to, like, really build a cohesive team in a gaming studio setup. Um, we put in that hard work through this rewrite. We have all the pre-production ready, we know exactly what we're going to build, and then, we're moving on from that. So, yeah, expect the beta, blockchain backed beta, airdrop, token drop, any of that. That's all going to happen like late September, early October. Um, in terms of what you're going to get released in that meantime, we have all this tooling in place now. We have a quest builder, an item builder. Um, like artists can swap out art without any developers stepping in. So you're gonna be able to get new worlds, new quest content, and all of that shipped to you guys in the meantime. So you can kind of help us shape the narrative, help us decide if these quests are good. And I think you're also going to get I need to check in on this. We need to decide when we're doing this, but we have all this art ready for the differences in space water, and like grass land out, you might get that before the alpha or beta is out. So that's really cool. Basically, your space land will look like space much more. You're gonna get unique access to different items. Um, like basically everything about the space land will look different than than the current land that you have right now. So you're gonna see like a ton of differences reflected in it. I've been so excited to get that art out. Um, So official release date, that's getting locked in. Like we literally have to get it locked in to drop this token. Um, we didn't want to like yeah, it's coming, but either like late September, early October. Again, we don't want to dilly dally. We don't want to like waste any time. So we're pretty incentivized ourselves to get this out in a quick and reasonable time. Um, so Yeah, what else? Oh, yeah, so last thing, we're in NFT NYC. It's been great. It's been super fun. I actually spoke yesterday on a panel about why Web3 or why gaming will bring millions to Web3. It was a really awesome panel. I'm gonna see if we can get a recording. It was quite funny. I don't think any of you were there. We had a few people on the team there. I think there were like 60 or 70 people there. It was like a bigger turnout than I was actually expecting. Um, but yeah, it was quite funny. It was me, like a few other founders of like gaming companies. I'm a founder of a guild. Um, and oh, this guy who had a background in um, like MMO economic manipulation. That dude was really interesting. His background was basically like he used to make money by like arbitrage in different like MMO economies. He would buy like a ton of assets on an MMO, make people think they're scarce, like flip them and sell them. Brought up really interesting points about how that's like happening in play to earn. He even brought up a point about how he did that in Axie. He saw that like some breeding ratio with Axies was kind of off and not reflected correctly in the market. Bought up a ton of them in the market and then like sold Axies and stuff like that too. So it was really interesting like hearing the different thoughts between gamers, guilds, and the econ in it. Um, so if we can get that panel out, we'll definitely try to. Me and one of the guild leaders kind of I don't want to say we had an argument. We had very different opinions, and it was really interesting hearing them clash. Um, so yeah, with that, I think I'm gonna open up the questions. There might be a few other things I want to mention as well too. But if you're in the Discord, feel free to ask questions. I'll go and scroll through it too, and we'll get to that. So have y'all considered forced rank voting for features slash gameplay for implementation post alpha release? That's a great question. So the one thing that we're wondering, and I'm still not completely sure of on the tokenomics, we figured out almost all the tokenomics, besides just if we want to drop the governance token or not. Um, I'm personally kind of nervous about the state of governance tokens in general and how they're going to get classified, whether they're going to be classified as securities or not, and like the legal consideration that's going to have, especially with the new legislation coming out. So we're working with our legal team to see what the best steps forward for are for like the safety of the company if we want to drop a governance token or not. Um, that would be really awesome for forced rank voting for futures. And we do kind of want to go in that direction. So if we can, we will. But we're gonna have to be pretty careful about the designation. But if you guys haven't listened to the other AMAs or like you're not super in the loop on it, we're basically gonna do a 3 token system. Expect one currency that's kind of like a soft currency. We're gonna try our best to balance it as much as possible. But you see with tokens or Web3 games that have like a very tightly integrated currency, that's what I'll call it. Where basically every single gameplay element is based on using this currency. It's really difficult to balance it properly. Our goal is going to be able to balance it properly, but we want to actually have most like if we're thinking about value of a token, like real world value, it's gonna be the hardest one to balance properly. The one that we want to focus on more so then is the secondary token that we're dropping, which like sometimes you'll call it like a premium currency in like gamer token design. But that's gonna be one that you can still earn through gameplay. But we're gonna capture and like not capture. We're going to be much more aware of how this token's getting generated. and we'll have a lot fewer variables and how that token's getting generated. So essentially, that token will kind of be like a daily reward, where we give out like the number's arbitrary right now, but we give out say like 10,000 tokens a day based on certain gameplay behavior, and we distribute that to people based on like whoever succeeded in those areas that we want to like reward that behavior for. Things like logging in 5 times a day. That's a great one. Things like who farmed the most pop berries, like top 10% pop berry farmers get this daily reward. And then that token will be used for like purchasing different things in game. So basically these two tokens will be used a bit differently in game. The first token, the soft currency, will be used more for purchasing like mostly everything in the game. Like it'll be like the primary currency, and then the second currency will be like premium items. Think about it more like um think about it more like skins, cosmetics, things like that. Things that don't like drastically affect the gameplay. But things that still like have significant value. Aesthetic items. We're gonna get really creative with that. That's where our design team is like pretty good at. Um so then yeah, third token would be a governance token. Still iffy on that. So actually, if we don't do a governance token, in order to help you guys, in order to get like better feedback from the community and like a more structured way based on like the skin in the game that you have in this community, which I think is important. We did have snapshots set up at some point. But now that we have features that are going to be coming out that we can get more feedback on, that's something that we can integrate better than we have now. So doing actual snapshot votes and getting consideration around that. But yeah, my ideal situation is having that be through a governance token, airdrops based on like the length that you hold land, rather than just doing that based on the NFTs that you hold. But we'll figure out a way to do that. It's like it would be so silly not to take in consideration of the community when we're building out features. You guys are active, you're playing the game, you're dedicated, and you guys all have good ideas. So we're gonna figure out some way to do that. Um, Focus has been heads down building out game features, but we're moving on to these stages where we can start getting feedback. Um, so yeah, we're getting asked about sprint. So after the rewrite, are we getting sprints or will new features be shipped all at once? So I think we're going more with the approach of shipping like larger sets of features at once. And then how we can satiate you guys in the meantime is one, we're gonna start doing like aggressive growth marketing. So there's gonna be a lot of fun stuff there. We haven't tried to grow in a very long time, and that's been intentional. Um, there's a few things coming. Number one, a rebrand, this rewritten code base, and a few new features, and then an airdrop coming too, where we think we're finally in a place where all the growth that we like, all the exposure that we get, we can capture sufficiently. So the spend that we put into growth is just gonna be much more effective. Growth is made of two parts. It's made of exposure, and it's also made of retention. And if you don't have a product or a situation that can retain users effectively, that growth is kind of wasted. And we actually think we're in that's why we're so excited about this rewrite. We finally turned that corner. We're in a place where this growth will actually be effective for us. And we want to hype up this airdrop. We want to hype up the token drop. We're moving into that stage. So expect new content to come out. Expect new like growth strategies to come out. We have a lot planned. It's gonna be fun. That's what I'm so excited about. We're doing some really silly things that will hopefully make a splash. So stay tuned for that. This team's been super creative. We put together like a whole growth playbook. Um, it's gonna get wacky, and we're putting a bit of funding towards it too. It's definitely worth doing that. But it's not just funding. It's like not something that honestly you need to throw money at. It's more just like getting on the grind, the hustle. We did it before with the NFT drop. We're in a much better place in terms of product, in terms of like base following. We don't have to go from 0 to 10K. That's the hardest part of like this initial growth. All of our following is organic right now. We never paid for any followers. We never paid for any Discord members. Now we can start growing pretty well and building like a really solid base on top of that. So super excited for that stage. So expect content and like fun growth mechanisms in the meantime while we ship. Um, and then internally, we're gonna be working on making sure that the game is getting more and more fun, more and more polished. So the 2-week sprint, yeah, it's interesting because I have a startup background. I have like a very lean mentality. Games just work a bit differently. So in startups, it's really, really like it's silly and stupid to not ship as often as possible and get stuff in front of people as much as possible. In games, the systems that you build are more interconnected, and there's just this reality of like, okay, there's so many moving pieces where they kind of have to get built in bigger chunks together. So it's not the best scenario where you have to take like a bit more of a gamble and a risk in terms of the features that you build that they're going to hit or stick. But this team that we have, the game design side of things, they are super experienced. Their best guesses and their best judgment are probably quite good. They're educated. They made hundreds of games that have been played by hundreds of millions of people. Um, so we have a good base to start off of, and then it's all about iteration after that. We'll ship, get feedback, and listen to you guys and move on from there. Jesse's saying there's so many sounds in the pipeline right now. Yeah, I've been hearing them. There's like 8 different portal sounds that he proposed. They're all getting refined too. It's been quite fun and cool to see that process. Any approximate date for the rebrand to be completed? Yeah, so we actually just got um I can't leak this. This is too cool. We just got the logo finished. Um New logo. They're working on color schemes and stuff like that now too. We're gonna wait until we drop the rebrand. Um until we get like the website that they're working on done. And that's when we're gonna start that growth push as well too. So new website logo. You guys might have noticed something else too, potentially new domain. All of that, that's coming. I don't know if no one commented on that in the alpha testing, but yeah. Okay, I'm looking on the Discord for any more questions. Yeah, so if you guys noticed, in this rebrand, we're dropping the dot online. That's the really big thing, which I'm super excited. That's kind of alpha. Um, but yeah, I don't want anybody to call us Pixels dot online anymore. We're just Pixels. We've successfully filed a trademark in Web3. Um, and we're in a pretty good spot with that. I'm excited for that. Yeah, so yeah, give me some more questions, guys. I'm on the Discord, or yeah, I'll start taking people up too. So if you want to speak on the space, feel free to request. I'm waiting for Blue's Clues. Um, I want to end this on a tip out. But, yeah, we don't need to go too much longer. This team has been grinding away this week. So, yeah, in other news too, when we drop this token, I know there's a lot of VCs, or, like, investors that follow this. We're probably going to open up a new round of investment, with select investors who can really push this to the next level as well. We obviously have a really awesome value add investors right now. We're gonna be in a really, really strong position for fundraising, after we drop this beta and after we drop this token. I'm very in tune with the space. We're pretty early on dropping a game, compared to competition right now. So, this space received hundreds of investments into, Web3 gaming studios over the last, like, 6 months. Many of them are still years out. Many of them have been doing, like, really, really long pre-production cycles, really, really long, dev cycles. In my mind, that's not the right decision. I think shipping quickly in this space is the most important thing. The NFT space, as you guys know, it's very impatient, and, even building out a game like this, it's, it's, yeah, not easy, it's not a quick thing to do, so we've been sprinting, like, moving really, really rapidly, especially compared to other teams, so, as we ship this game, we'll be one of the first of this new generation to have shipped. And yeah, we'll be in a pretty strong fundraising position too. So yeah, if any investors or if you have any connections to that, just let them know that around like looks like September, October, we're shipping the game. We'll probably open up another round of funding as well too. So sweet. Oh, I'm getting questions about the game loop and the growth. So the game loop will be closed when the token's gonna drop. That's what you guys wanna like that's what you guys wanna be focused on as much as possible. It's all about this token drop because again, you guys are here, you guys are playing the game, you guys are gonna get airdrop this token. That's like kind of the value add of owning this land, of being here as well too, and that's how we're going to like reward early holders. So you guys are incentivized for this token drop to go as well as possible. We want to drop this um, immediately when we drop the game. So we don't want to drop the token until we have a closed game loop. We think we can get away with doing growth and like hyping up the game um, as we get there. So the whole idea is making sure, hey, people know what we've been doing. It's not even I don't even want to call it hype because we actually have product. We actually have something awesome that we're shipping. We put like a ton of love, energy, and effort into it. And we're gonna drop a token with like day one utility, which is not normal. Uh, so we're super excited about that. We're super excited to get it out to people, and we just want to share the word, show people, hey, look at all this hard work that we've been doing, and look what's coming. So yeah, we're ready for that. We're getting there, and then that's been the value add of like these partners that we brought on as well too. Expect us to start using those. This has been the moment we've been working for. This has been the moment that we're like focused on. I've been talking about a token drop since December 2021, ever since you guys have been on here. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to get this out to you guys. Oh, here's a question. So Midnight Club asked, what are your current thoughts on blockchain-backed assets in the game? Is the plan still to have the inventory items to be blockchain-backed? Yeah, so that is the plan. Basically, every item in the game will be an NFT. Um, and every single asset that you interact with will be an NFT. Um, the important thing to us and what we've like figured out, um, through market research, talking to users is what people really care about is ownership on chain. That's like the most important thing. The mechanics on chain aren't as important as um yeah, the mechanics on chain aren't as important to people really, but making sure you have actual ownership of the item that you can exit them if you want to, or that you can transfer assets in between games. Like you need to have on-chain ownership for that. So there needs to be a certain level of trust that we're like issuing assets in a fair way, but you can get that level of trust just by like looking at how assets are actually being created and analyzing that too. If you're saying, hey, these people are inflating way too much, like you're gonna see it, you're gonna know it. Um, the rules don't necessarily have to be on chain, but they can be really transparent. Um, so you'll get the after effects of that. So yeah, expect everything in inventory to be on chain. Going to be on Polygon. And then we have really, really interesting tech. Okay, sorry. I'll 1 second, 1 second. I'm gonna put on Blue's Clues. How's it going? No. He Blue's Clue. He requested to come on, give a little tip out. Um, I'll give a tip out for him. Tip out. But yeah, so half of our tech that we're building out actually is the onboarding process and making sure making sure that like actually getting into the game, owning these assets is extremely easy. So we've been putting a ton of work into like figuring out what that looks like, what the most seamless way that we can do this is. The idea is we want people to be able to sign up for Pixels and get on-chain assets without necessarily even knowing these assets are on chain. So that means traditional login types, but then also adding in features for people who do want like full ownership of their items is also important too. So making sure that there is still MetaMask login if you want non-custodial custody of your assets, that's okay too. But then also, yeah, we'll have custodial wallets for people as well. So working on bridges and stuff between that, that's been some of the work. It's pretty cool tech that we're building out. That's like half of the I don't wanna call it, like, IP that we're building out because I think everybody should be doing this eventually, but we're early to this. I think we're gonna have some of the best onboarding experiences in Web3, and, we're super excited about that. Alright, any other questions? If you have a question, feel free to come up here. If not, then I'll still keep looking up at Discord, but we might end this relatively soon. Really appreciate you guys all coming out, even if you're at NFT NYC or just like chilling around, getting FOMO. Um, appreciate you all here. It's been honestly, this is a great week for NFTs. This is a great week for the space. I was a little worried coming out here myself. Um, I was worried the space would be, just kinda sad or, the event wouldn't be great, but, honestly, I'm, like, more bullish on NFTs than I have been in a long time. The energy is really good. Um, people are people are building here. I think what was really great about NFT NYC so far is most people I met, they're the people who, actually care about the space. They're the people who are here for the right reasons, and they're the people who are here, like, heads down and building. So I'm telling you guys, the space, we're in a good spot still. I'm honestly not worried, even given current market conditions. We're, uh, we're doing well. Okay, one last question. That's a really good question. How do you envision trading works? OpenSea requires a $5 minimum to sell on Polygon. Will trading be in the game, or would it be buying slash selling on NFT marketplaces? Um, yeah, so trading will be in game. Um, That's pretty important. So the idea is you'll be able to buy and sell assets on whatever marketplace you want, but you can also do it through Pixels. Trading, we probably wouldn't take any cut on, but we'll also have an in-game store as well too. The really interesting thing about Web3 is we'll have an in-game store, right? But if all of your assets are NFTs, if all of your assets are tokens, then you don't need to go through our store. You don't need to go through Pixels to trade and buy and sell different Pixels assets. The reality is, really early on in the game, we'll probably be the only people who will take your pop berries for a kind of coin. But the more network effect that we get, the more people playing the game, um, you'll actually probably find people undercutting the Pixel store, or you'll find people who like have things the Pixel store might not have in like a lot of stock. So there's kinda gonna be 2 versions of the store that we come out. One where we set the prices. We're saying, "Hey, pop berries are 10 coins." That's what they are. Eventually, we're gonna need a much more intelligent marketplace. That's, like, one of the things that comes where it's like, okay, looking at supply and demand of these assets, figuring out the right price to actually balance the ecosystem. There's so much here. There's so much depth. We're so excited to be building this, and this team is so capable. Um, don't wanna bore you with all the, intricate details, but it's all well thought out, and I can promise you that. Um, so sweet. With all of that, thank you guys so much for coming. New York is so noisy, it's so hectic, but NFT NYC has been great. Um, Super excited for these next stages. We'll be in Discord a lot. If you guys are at NFT NYC again, maybe like reply to some tweet, send us a DM, something like that. We have merch. I don't want to go somewhere and stand and give it out. So like let's just yeah, find us somewhere. Pebbles, if you want to come up, request to speak. I can get you on. We can answer one more question. If not, then yeah, we're gonna sign off soon. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. Really appreciate it, and hope you guys have a great day. All right, tip out, tip out. And with that, we're ending.